Today's lesson is called A Christmas Carol. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
I'm Roger. Now we're in the month of December. So, of course, later on this month, we're going to be celebrating Christmas. And we'll be talking about Christmas traditions later on in the month. But for now, we're going to introduce a story to you that is often told at Christmas time. The Charles Dickens story, A Christmas Carol.
Yes, but we won't be singing a song. No. Yes, if people talk about Christmas carols, they're usually talking about traditional Christmas songs that people sing during the holiday season. Jingle bells, so on, so
all the way.
Those would all be considered Christmas carols. But here, this is a story about Christmas called A Christmas Carol. It was written by Charles Dickens, a very famous English author, and we are going to be reading this particular story, or a summary thereof, over the next 2 days. So yes, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll start in on our lesson.
A Christmas Carol. In A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, we meet the disagreeable Ebenezer Scrooge and witness his transformation from miser to philanthropist. It begins on Christmas Eve, and Scrooge is in his office when his nephew comes to invite him for dinner the next day. He sends his nephew away, saying, "Bah humbug," to Christmas. Scrooge despises the holiday and anyone who celebrates it. Scrooge complains to his clerk, Bob Cratchit, about the injustice of having to not only give Cratchit Christmas off, but also pay him for it.
大家好，首先在第一部分我们看到的单字是名词 transformation， 表示显著、重大的改变或是转换。例如 After the transformation, the old factory became an apartment building. 老旧的工厂在改造转换后变成一栋公寓大楼。而 transformation 的动词则为 transform, T-R-A-N-S-F-O-R-M。 例如 The magician transformed the dove into a flower. 魔术师将鸽子变成一朵花。接下来我们看到的单字是 philanthropist， 这个字是名词，指慈善家。例如 The billionaire George Soros is a famous philanthropist. 亿万富翁乔治·索罗斯是一位有名的慈善家。另外，用来表示慈善的，则可以使用形容词 philanthropic, P-H-I-L-A-N-T-H-R-O-P-I-C， 像是 The company's founder retired to devote his time to philanthropic pursuits. 该公司创办人退休后，将时间奉献在慈善事业上。再来看到的单字是名词 injustice，有不公平、非正义的意思，像是 Janice wants to be a lawyer so she can help people fight injustice. Janice 想要成为一位律师，这样可以帮助人们为不公平而抗争。而 injustice 的反义词会去掉字首 in 变成 justice。例如 The people in the town hope the criminal is brought to justice soon. 城里的人们希望能尽快将这位罪犯绳之以法。
Okay, everybody, it's time for us to discuss the contents of today's lesson. Now, you are familiar with the English writer Charles Dickens. He's the fellow who wrote Oliver Twist, A Tale of Two Cities, David Copperfield, etc. Those are very, very long books, but A Christmas Carol, his Christmas story, is much shorter, so maybe you could consider reading it for the Christmas season. And in A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, we meet the disagreeable Ebenezer Scrooge and witness his transformation from miser to philanthropist. Okay, so that's basically a summary of the plot of A Christmas Carol. Okay, so the main character of this story is a man by the name of Ebenezer Scrooge. Okay, and we're describing him as being disagreeable. To disagree means you don't agree with the other person, but here it's an adjective, disagreeable. It just means the person or the thing is unpleasant, it's unenjoyable, it's something you don't want to be around. In this case, it's describing Ebenezer Scrooge. He's obnoxious, he's ornery, and nobody wants to be friends with him.
Yeah, a disagreeable person. You might walk up to them and say, "Oh, it's a nice day outside, isn't it?" "No, it's not. I don't like today. I think the weather is too hot or it's too cold." Whatever. One way or another, you try to start a conversation with this person, and they're just mean, and they might disagree with everything that you say. They're disagreeable. Anyways, we just talked about Ebenezer Scrooge. He's a disagreeable guy. He's not a nice fella, but in this story, we get to witness his transformation. Yes, he changes from one thing to another. We get to witness his transformation from miser to philanthropist. Anyways, we've got two words that we need to talk about right now. First of all, we have the word witness. Here, the word witness is being used as a verb. If you witness something, you see that thing happen, occur, or take place. Now, this word witness can also be used as a noun. A witness is someone who has seen something. They've seen something, they have knowledge of something, so on and so forth. Yeah, very often, witnesses see crimes. One time, I was in a bank withdrawing money, and I was witness to a bank robbery. I saw those scary guys come in with masks on and with guns. It was very scary. I was a witness to that crime. I witnessed that crime, and later on, the police asked me questions. They said, "Hey, so you're a witness to this crime. Tell us everything that you saw. Tell us everything that you know."
But here we're using the word witness as a verb, so we get to see this for ourselves. We get to witness his transformation. Your transformation, of course, refers to when you change from one thing to another. The transformation of a caterpillar into a butterfly, for example. And his transformation, or his change, is from a miser to a philanthropist. A miser is a stingy person who likes to make a lot of money and keep it all to himself. He wants to save the money. He's greedy, and nobody wants to be friends with him. He's a miser. Usually I think of a miser as being an old person. Oh, don't hang around Mr. Smith. He's an old miser. But also here we're talking about him later becoming a philanthropist, which is a generous person who likes to give money to charity.
Yeah, a miser and then a philanthropist. This is an interesting transformation for Ebenezer Scrooge because these are opposites. A miser and a philanthropist, these two things are the opposite of one another. A philanthropist is a rich person who has tons of money and likes to give this money away to worthy causes and worthy organizations. A miser, on the other hand, is greedy. They have a bunch of money, but they're greedy and they're also cheap. So they don't want to give any of their money away. Now, as for our story, we know what's going to happen to Ebenezer Scrooge, but let's get into the story proper. Let's learn the details of this story. Okay, first of all, it begins on Christmas Eve, and Scrooge is in his office when his nephew comes to invite him for dinner the next day. And of course, he says, "Oh, Christmas dinner? I would love to join you." Right? Wrong. He doesn't say this at all. He is a miser. He is disagreeable, so he sends his nephew away, saying, "Bah humbug to Christmas."
And that, of course, is his featured saying or expression in this story, and whenever you hear somebody say bah humbug, you know they are referring to A Christmas Carol, especially to the character of Ebenezer Scrooge. Bah humbug. Humbug here just means nonsense. It's just foolish stuff. Don't mention that to me. Christmas means nothing to me. It's all a waste of time. So he sends the nephew away. The nephew, of course, is the son of his sister or of his brother. And Scrooge despises the holiday and anyone who celebrates it. So, of course, if you despise something, you really hate that. I despise the hot and sunny days of summer in Taipei. I so long to go to the cool mountains of the Central Mountain Range in summer.
Yeah, in the summer, I love to get out of the city myself and go to Sun Moon Lake. There, it's not so hot and steamy, and at night it cools down. Like you, I despise the summer heat and humidity. And that's not all. I despise both camping and hiking. If it's a one-day hike and I get to wake up in my own bed and then go to sleep in my own bed as well, that's okay, but multiple days hiking and then camping, I really don't like those things. I don't like to do that type of stuff. I despise that type of stuff. I hate it. I dislike it strongly. Anyways, Scrooge, our article continues, Scrooge complains to his clerk, Bob Cratchit, about the injustice of having to not only give Cratchit Christmas off, but also pay him for it. Wow, this Scrooge guy sounds terrible. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
That evening, Scrooge hears the sound of rattling chains, and his former partner, Jacob Marley, appears to him as a ghost. He pleads with Scrooge to change his greedy and selfish behavior, or else he will carry a chain like Marley's in death. Marley warns him that 3 ghosts will visit to try to mend Scrooge's ways.
第二部分我们看到的单字是动词 plead， 指的是恳求、请求，多作为不及物用法。我们常用 plead with somebody 来表示恳求某人。举例来说 The students pleaded with their teacher for an extra day to study for the test. 学生们恳求老师多给他们1天时间准备考试。
Okay, everybody, let's continue with our summary of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. So again, we know Ebenezer Scrooge. He's an old miser, and his nephew comes to invite him to Christmas dinner the next day. And Scrooge says, bah humbug, go away. Christmas is a bunch of nonsense. And then he complains to his employee. He says, boy, it's such an injustice. I not only have to give you the day off, but I also have to pay you for a day of not working. What an injustice. Okay, well, here the story continues. That evening, which would be Christmas Eve, December 24th, the night before Christmas, Scrooge hears the sound of rattling chains, and his former partner Jacob Marley appears to him as a ghost. Ooh, that sounds pretty scary here. So that happens that evening at night. He is awoken, or hears the sound of chains, and the chains are rattling. That means they're kind of bumping against each other and making a lot of noise. If you drive an old car down the street, the car might make some rattling sounds because it's got lots of problems.
Yeah, something might be loose in the car and it goes chick, chick, chick. It goes back and forth inside that car, inside some closed compartment of that car. It bangs against things and makes this sound, not unlike the sound that a baby's rattle makes. Very often, babies play with a toy called a rattle. Chick, 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 chick. They play with this rattle. It makes that sound. It makes a rattling sound. Yes, if something is said to be rattling, it makes a sound not unlike that of a rattle. Yes, a rattling sound sounds like hard things are banging or knocking into one another over and over again. And this guy Marley, Jacob Marley, the ghost of this fella, I should say, he pleads with Scrooge to change his greedy and selfish behavior, or else he will carry a chain like Marley's in death. So that does not sound very good for Scrooge. It sounds like if he doesn't change his ways, he is going to suffer a similar fate in death. He'll also have to wear a rattling chain. So Scrooge better change his selfish behavior. By the way, behavior, very simply, is just the way that you act. Behavior is the way that a person acts given some situation.
Some students will be awarded for good behavior in school, for example. And this, of course, comes from the verb to behave, to act in a good way. If you behave well, you act in a nice way. If you behave badly, then you're being naughty, you're being mischievous, etc., etc. My mother always told me, behave yourself, act your age. But in any case here, yes, he says you need to change that behavior, Ebenezer. You got to stop being such a miser. Quit being so greedy, or you will have to carry a chain when you're dead. You'll carry a chain like me in death. And who wants to carry around a heavy chain for the rest of eternity? Now, Marley warns him that 3 ghosts will visit to try to mend Scrooge's ways. Wow, not only the ghost of Jacob Marley will visit him, but 3 more ghosts will come to visit him that evening. Boy, Scrooge is going to have a busy night.
Yes, and by the way, it says here that Scrooge is warned to change his ways. If you change your ways, everyone, you try to do better. You try to change yourself for the better, or you try to turn your life around. You try to fix yourself. So Marley's saying, hey, you better mend your ways, Scrooge. He's saying you better change yourself for the better. For example, you could say he had tried to mend his ways, but his old friends dragged him down with them. And that's a sad story. Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll wrap up part 1 of our lesson on A Christmas Carol.
When the clock strikes 1, Scrooge wakes up to the first spirit, the white-robed ghost of Christmas past. The ghost takes Scrooge to his past, showing him his lonely childhood and how his first boss made him feel like a son at Christmas time. The ghost also reminds Scrooge of the Christmas when his fiancée left him because of his obsession with money.
第3部分我们看到的名词 fiancé 指的是未婚妻，而这个字后面的 e 删掉就会变成未婚夫的意思，和 fiancé 有相同的读音。例如 Jack will meet his fiancée after work to discuss more about the wedding.Jack 即将在下班后与他的未婚妻见面，讨论更多婚礼的事情。今天最后一个单字是 obsession， 是一个名词，意指着迷迷恋。举例来说 ，Collecting Batman toys has become Marcus's biggest obsession。收集蝙蝠侠的玩具已成为 Marcus 最沉迷的事情。而 obsession 的动词为 obsess，O-B-S-E-S-S， 多与介系词 with 连用，像是Vern is obsessed with video games. Vern 很着迷于电玩游戏。
Okay, again, so far we've got Mr. Scrooge there being visited by various ghosts on Christmas Eve, and Marley, of course, told him to mend his ways, stop being such a miser. So when the clock strikes 1, which is 1 a.m., it's really late here, it's the very early morning of Christmas Day, Scrooge wakes up to the first spirit, the white-robed ghost of Christmas past. So this is a spirit. A spirit is like a ghost. It's what's left over after you die. Some people believe there's a soul in your body that separates from your body when you die, and that soul can also be your spirit. It can also be a ghost. So this is the first spirit that visits him It's called The Ghost of Christmas Past, or Christmases that happened in years previous.
Yes, and this ghost, the ghost of Christmas past, this ghost takes Scrooge to his past, showing him his lonely childhood and how his first boss made him feel like a son at Christmas time. So be better at Christmas time. Don't you remember how as a lonely child your first boss made you feel like a son at Christmas time? Why don't you return the favor? Now that's not all. The ghost also reminds Scrooge of the Christmas when his fiancée left him because of his obsession with money. So Scrooge, change yourself. Remember, your fiancé left you because you were so greedy and obsessed with money. So change yourself, mend your ways. All right, folks, with that, part 1 of our lesson on A Christmas Carol is now in the books, and it's time for you guys to hear from the Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一句有2个补充单字， transformation 以及 philanthropist。 那这边我们来帮同学补充他们的字首、字根以及其他同字首或是同字根的单字。好，首先来看 philanthropist， 它是指慈善家。那它的字首 phil 或是在其他字会出现 philo 这个字首呢，表示爱。那么 anthrop 这部分这个字根呢，它表示人类。那么字尾 ist 表示从事什么什么的人，或者是遵从某个学说、某个信仰的人。同学们就可以试着联想啦，慈善家是会从事慈善行为、投身慈善事业的人。那这种人呢，通常都是热爱人类、有大爱的人。那我们把字尾 ist 改成名词字尾 y， 就会得到 philanthropy。Philanthropy 它是名词，那就是指慈善事业或是慈善行为。如果你再把字尾改成形容词字尾 ic， 就会变成 philanthropic。Philanthropic 就是形容博爱的、仁慈的或是慈善的。好，那我们刚刚不是有说到那个字根 anthrop 这部分表示人类，如果你在后面加上字尾 ology 这部分就会变成人类学 anthropology 人类学。好，那这个 ology 常常会出现在那种表示学说啊、科学或是主义的名词里面，意思就是什么什么学、什么什么论，像 biology 就是生物学， psychology 就是心理学等等。好，那接着我们来看 transformation 这个字，它的字首 trans 表示穿越或者是转变。那么 form 我们知道它有形状或是形式的意思， transform 就表示变形啊、改变或是转换。那后面再加上名词字尾 ation 就会得到名词 transformation，那就表示改变转换。那我们顺便要补充几个也有 form 这个字根的单字，像 uniform。好 uniform 它的字首 uni 就表示单一，那 form 是形状，好，单一形状。uniform 这个形容词呢，可以用来表达一致的、不变的。那它当名词可以用来指制服。好，至于 perform 它的字首 per 它有完全的意思，那 form 是形状。同学们就可以试着联想啊，当我们把某事物它的形状啊、样貌完全呈现出来、完全表现出来，那就不难想到说 perform 它有执行、履行、完成，或者是甚至有表演、演出的意思。好，那还有一个单字叫 conform 是拼作 conform， 那它的字首 con 有共同的意思，那么 form 表示形式。当每一个人做事情都是依照相同的形式，按照共同的规范，你就可以联想到 conform 它有遵守、配合或是符合的意思。那接着读到课文第2部分，有一句是 He pleads with Scrooge to change his greedy and selfish behavior, or else he will carry a chain like Marley's in death. 他恳求 Scrooge 改变贪婪又自私的行为，否则死后就会像他一样带着锁链。那句子里面的 or else 意思就跟 otherwise 一样，表示否则、要不然怎么样怎么样。那 or else 也可以单独使用，把它摆在句尾，表示说如果没有做到前面描述的事情，会有严重的后果，像 是妈妈可能就会讲说 clean your room or else 去打扫你的房间，否则你就完蛋了，否则你就惨了。好，另外 or else 还可以用来提出另外一种可能性，像是 she either forgot the address or else got lost 她要么就是忘了地址，不然就是迷路了。好，那么以上是今天的重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Witness. Anyone who witnessed the robbery should contact the police. Miser. Bruno used to be a total miser, but he later realized that as long as his finances were comfortable, he didn't need to be so stingy. Despise. Sylvia despises people who are nice to her face, but talk badly about her behind her back. Rattle. The windows rattled loudly during the storm. Plead. It's no use pleading with me to forgive you because I'm not going to change my mind. Behavior. Eleanor's warm and friendly behavior made everyone feel at ease. Fiancé. Before they were engaged, Logan took his fiancée to meet his parents.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.